Last video we have discussed about the introduction part and some basic things about the equilibrium and how it is established. You know that at equilibrium gives a free energy chain is equal to 0. That means at equilibrium that particular system will be stable. We know the relation, right? Energy, if energy is less, then stability will be more. So that criteria we can apply here. One sec. Now, what is the active mass? So the reactants which are actively participating in the particular reaction is called as active mass. Okay, say for example 50 moles of any reactant is involving in chemical reaction to form products. So how many R molecules are reacted? Say for example 20 moles are involved in a particular reaction. So this 20 mole is nothing but active mass. We know this thing. We have discussed in the last lecture. Now consider a reaction. Consider a reaction plus BB and the system is in equilibrium, capital CC plus small dd. So what is the rate of forward reaction? How can we write? Rate of the forward reaction is directly proportional to the concentration of A and concentration of B and stoichiometry A and B. A and B are stoichiometry, and this capital A and capital B is nothing but the active mass. Now if we remove the proportionality constant, we will get Kf. We can write Kf, and whatever is present we will write that only. This is the rate of the forward reaction. Similarly, we can write the rate of backward reaction. I will write directly rate of backward reaction Kb is like C, you know very well, capital D to the power of small d. So this capital C and capital D are active masses and C and D are stoichiometric ratio. They're stoichiometric. Now we know that rate of forward reaction is exactly equal to rate of backward reaction. We know these things, right? Then we say that the system is in equilibrium. Okay, so if we equate this reaction, what do we get? So I'll erase this. So what is the rate of forward reaction? We can write Kf concentration A and B, which is equal to Kb, okay, rate of backward reaction, C d to the power d. Now if I talk about Kf by Kb, what it will be equal to? If you do so, you will get d power d, and it is divided by n b power b, right? So this is the equation. This is the final equation. Now Kf by Kb, that is forward reaction by backward reaction, we can write as Kc. So you should remember this. Kf by Kb is nothing but Kc. Okay, so we should study about Kc here. So what happens to the Kc and what are the factors which influence the Kc, we should study. So before going to that, I'll take one example and we will calculate what is what. Well-known reaction we will take and we will see what is happening. You write down Kc is equal to Kf by Kb. This is the important thing. Now consider the elementary reaction N2 plus O2, which is in equilibrium with 2NO. Then what about Kc? How to calculate Kc for this molecule? You see, Kc is equal to, we can write Kc is equal to NO square. See, we have seen now stoichiometry should be written in the form of a Pa by N2 NO2. For this reaction, Kc is this. Simple, right? So this is the example you must remember. Yeah, Kc depends on two factors. First one is stoichiometry and the second one would be temperature. So we need to remember temperature very much. What happens when temperature increased? What happens when temperature is decreased here? Exo and endothermic process will come into play. So we will see now by taking an elementary reaction. A gives rise to B and say the equilibrium constant is K1 and FB is giving rise to C. Its equilibrium constant is K2. Okay, so if we add these two, B gets cancelled and A is in equilibrium with C. Say that this is K3. Okay, now if we want to know about K3, the entire reaction, if you see here, it is like A giving rise to B giving rise to C, right? First this is K1 and this is K2 and this entire thing is K3. So we can say that K3 is equal to K1 into K2 multiplied. Always remember, if the reaction, if we add any two reactions, then the rate constant should be multiplied. Okay, if we add any two reactions, the rate constant should be multiplied. But when you subtract any two reaction, then the rate constant should be divided. What is that? The rate constant should be divided. This is the trick for solving problems. So K3 is equal to K1 and K2 we will get. How we will get? Let's check. So what is K1? We know this is K1 is B by A. Very good. B by A into what is K2? It is C by B, right? C by B. So here B cancel. What we will get? C by A. C by A is nothing but K3, no? It is K3. So we can say that K3 is equal to K1 into K2. Okay. So the point to be remembered here is, always remember, when the two reactions are added, you should multiply the rate constant. When they are subtracted, you should divide the rate constant. This is the point you should remember. Let's move on to the next topic. So what if Kc is more? The value of Kc is more, that is greater than 10 power 3 molarity. Greater than 10 power 3 molarity. So what is Kc now here? Kc is equal to, we know that rate of forward reaction by rate of backward reaction. Kc is more means numerator value is more. So what is numerator here? Forward reaction, right? In this way you can remember. Now if Kc is more, then the reaction proceeds in forward direction. What if Kc is less? Kc is less, that is less than 10 power 3. So then what happens? Rf by Rb value, what happens? Now the denominator value will be more, so it is corresponding the backward, so the reaction goes towards the backward. So this is happening at equilibrium, Kc at equilibrium, right? So at equilibrium, if equilibrium is established, then the Kc value is more, then the reaction go forward, that means towards the product side. What if Kc value is less? If it is less, it will go backwards, that is towards the reactant side. This is all about the Kc values. Next we will move on to reaction coefficient. What is reaction coefficient? Now we should discuss about the reaction coefficient, and it is denoted by capital Q. And now we can say that, see, what is the reaction coefficient basically is nothing but it is the measurable amount. It is the measurable amount of products and reactants. It is a measurable amount of products and reactants at particular point of time. So I'd say, for example, reaction is reaction is carrying out in a particular environment and the time is 30 minutes. So whenever you want to check the reaction, like say for example 10 minutes or whatever, then that measure is nothing but the reaction coefficient at the particular point, we can say. Okay, so it is similar to our Kc. Kc is equal to Q is equal to, what is that we are getting? Kc is equal to Q. Now let's see the elementary reaction. AA plus DD is in equilibrium with CC plus DD. Then what about Kc? How do we write Kc? Kc is nothing but directly I am writing C to the power of C, D to the power of D divided by A power small a and B power small b. But it is Kc. What about Q? It is also same at that particular point, right? So we can say that it is a measure of the products by reactants. It is the measure of products by reactants. Okay, just similar, both are same, but at that particular point. Now what does this Q do? Q try to, at particular point, we cannot say that the system is in equilibrium. So what does that Q do? Q try to attain that equilibrium. That means Q wants to become Kc. Equilibrium constant, it wants to attain that equilibrium. So let's see what if Q is increased and what if Q is decreased. Let's see. So if Q is greater than Kc or K, Q is greater than Kc, the equilibrium constant. Now what is Q? Products by reactants. Here also products by reactants. What if this products by reactants is increasing? At the numerator products are more, right? So products are present where? Products, if products increases means the reaction goes towards the backward, no? Similarly here also, if Q is greater than Kc, then the reaction is backward. Then the reaction is favorable towards the backward reaction. Let's see, if Q is less than Kc, that means P by R value is lower. That means it goes towards the reactant side. Then it is forward reaction. Then what about when Q is equal to Kc? So Q attained finally Kc. That means it attained equilibrium. So Q is equal to Kc means it is at equilibrium. It is at equilibrium. This is about the reaction coefficient. So next we have to discuss about Kp. So what is Kp? It is also equilibrium constant regarding pressure term, partial pressure. So when does the pressure term comes? If in a reaction mixture, if the reactants are the products, whatever reactants are products or gases, then pressure term comes into play. Let's see an elementary reaction now. A plus Bb is in equilibrium with Cc plus small d. So how to write Kp? Kp is equal to Pc whole power small c, pressure term, right? Pressure of D whole power small d, as it is by partial pressure of A and its stoichiometry, partial pressure of B and its stoichiometry. Very easy, no? It is Kp. It is a pressure term. It is a pressure term. Now we should see what is the relation between Kp and Kc. What is the relation? So we can say that Kp is equal to Kc into RT power delta N. This is the formula you should remember. Okay, so that is the relation between Kp and Kc. Now the question comes, we know Kp is nothing but equilibrium constant while taking pressure terms, and you know Kc. So what is R? R is universal gas constant and T is the temperature there, absolute temperature, and delta N. What is the delta N here? Delta N is equal to stoichiometry of products and reactants. Okay, directly we can say that products minus reactants, stoichiometry of products minus reactants. So that gives the value of delta N, right? Delta N. So this is about the relation between the Kp and Kc. Now we should see what is homogeneous. In the next video we will see about the homogeneous equilibrium, heterogeneous equilibrium, and how does the delta N value affect the entire equilibrium. We will see what if delta N is positive, if it is negative, and delta N is equal to like 0. We will see what happens when all these terms are included. We will solve problems at the end.